Welcome to the podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Clem, and this is Turns Out We're Gay. Before we jump into today's episode, we would like to introduce our incredible sponsor, Hinge, the dating app designed to be deleted.
Finding the right person can be tough, especially in the queer community. That's why we love Hinge. Their LGBTQIA+ prompts, created with Glad, help you showcase your true self and connect with someone who really gets you.
Hinge has been a part of both of our dating lives over the years. I actually met my first girlfriend on Hinge and made some amazing connections since. I love how you can be specific on what you're looking for and give in-depth information on yourself while having fun with it. What about you, Sarah?
Well, I have met some amazing polyamorous people on Hinge and made great connections. As you know, I am passionate about transparency on dating apps, and that's what I love about Hinge. Personally, my favourite LGBTQIA+ prompt is, I feel proudest of who I am when, and my answer is when I openly talk about my queerness.
We are thrilled to partner with Hinge, who have made dating in the queer community so much easier. Download Hinge and show off your full personality today.
I kissed a girl and I liked it, the taste of her cherry chapstick.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Perfect. So, if that didn't give it away, we are doing a bit of a review of the latest queer show, I Kissed a Girl.
This has been a hyperfixation for us.
We have been loving it.
I'm obsessed.
You are now suddenly into reality TV shows.
It has made me spiral down into Love is Blind. What was the other show I watched? There was another show I watched. I got obsessed with Love is Blind after this.
Yeah.
I've never been into reality TV at all. I think I dabbled a little bit in the Big Brother days.
Yeah.
But I've never been into it. But I Kissed a Girl, 5 out of 5. 10 out of 10.
I thought it was out of 10 and I was like, the other 5 go.
10 out of 10. I think also...
Who says 5 out of 5?
I don't know. 10 out of 10. I think it's awesome that there's a queer TV reality show and they're just like normal people.
Yeah, exactly. So let's break it down. I Kissed a Girl is a queer show with 10 single queer girls in a house in Italy. They couple the girls up with another girl on the first day and they meet with a kiss. There's no speaking at all. And then there's a few weeks where they explore that connection or potential other connections in the masseria, as they call it.
The masseria. But how awkward would it be to not know what the person looks like, sounds like, smells like? I think you just walk up and you kiss them.
Yeah. Just lay it on them.
Just lay it on them. Would you do it?
Yeah.
Of course you would. I'm asking
With some of the girls in there, yeah.
And we're going to talk about who those girls are. I can already tell you. If you haven't listened to the queer TV show episode yet, you should, because you'll learn that Clem lives vicariously through TV shows and characters.
Yes, so that was last week's episode. And this week we are doing one that has just come out. So that was a lot about shows to watch as you're coming out that have been out. You can binge watch them. There's seasons upon seasons and all sorts of things. But they were all fictional, whereas this is real life. These are real people. This is real relationships, real feelings, real emotions, and I think it doesn't disappoint. This is something that most queer women I've had a conversation with. As soon as you bring up things like Love Island, you just think, imagine if it was queer women, it would be chaos. And I'll say it wasn't as chaotic as I probably would have liked for my pure entertainment, but it was still pretty good.
Do you know what I liked about it, actually? I liked that it promoted healthy conversations.
That's the one thing that I think as a viewer, you kind of like the excitement of a bit of toxicity, but there's actually a lot of really healthy communication in it. And it kind of takes away from the chance of having too much toxicity. I'm not saying that there isn't any at all, but it takes away a lot of that potential, which is really refreshing to see, but also I could have done with a little bit more of it.
I'm sure there's been some toxic conversations in that masseria.
100%. This is my personal opinion. It's the first of its kind. I think if they went all guns blazing straight away, it probably would have been difficult to get the next season up and running. I'm hoping that there is many seasons to come.
Yeah.
But I also think, I feel like the group of girls were just quite level-headed.
Yeah.
You know, as a generalization, I think they were quite level-headed and pretty good at communicating. So it would be interesting to see, just for purely my entertaining side, sitting on the couch with popcorn. I'd love a couple more screaming fights over a girl or something like that. Would be pretty fun, I think.
A few more fights. Yeah, I do think it was a bit more focused on healthy communication. There is some drama. There were moments that we were like, oh
Absolutely.
my God. But I do think it was very well done for season 1. And I think now they can ramp up more girls, more drama.
Yep.
Every time new girls came in, we were like, fuck yeah, bring them in.
Or who are they going to break up? And it would just be so like chill. There's a single girl, we'll talk to them, like blah, blah, blah. And we're like, break these two up. Like, what are you doing? And that is something that I'll note, that we are going to do a YouTube video of the final episode and the reunion. We're going to react to it live, in a sense. It's going to have our reaction as soon as we've seen it, and it will be the first video that we kind of put out purely for a YouTube basis, so please give that some love. I will have been editing for hours, I'm sure, and the more likes and subscribers and things we can get on YouTube from it would be really, really amazing.
Yeah, and just on that, I know that you're probably going to say I'm preemptive doing this, but I think why the fuck not? We are excited about YouTube. We have some really good ideas. Obviously, we won't go into it. It's a bit early, but we're excited about what we're doing with YouTube. This is obviously the first of many. So, yeah, like Clem said, go and subscribe because there's some exciting things happening that way in the future.
Absolutely. So let's get stuck into it.
Okay.
We've talked about the fact that they were all pretty level-headed and whatnot, but let's get into a bit more juiciness.
Oh, before we start, pre-warning, if you haven't watched the show, close this. We don't care. Close this episode. Come back to it later. We do care.
I
Come
care
back.
that you come back.
Yeah,
but
you need to come
I understand that
Yeah.
you're going to stop it now to go and watch the show.
Go watch the show. Come back tomorrow because you're going to binge the whole show. I think we stayed up until like 3 a.m.
Literally.
Binging.
And then I put it back on at 7 a.m.
And then come back. So this is a pre-warning. We will be telling you about mainly episode 1, and then we're going to go through like all the important moments.
What we're doing right now is we're reacting to a majority of the episodes. We've not seen the finale yet, and we haven't seen the reunion yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to record this part of the podcast now. We're going to watch the finale and the reunion. Then we're going to come back and give our little reaction on both of those episodes. So you're getting it fresh before we've seen the ending, but we have seen most of it. All right, well, let's get stuck into it.
Episode 1, as we said, the girls are paired up. They've never seen each other. They don't know what they look like, whatever, and they have to go up and kiss. And firstly, we played a little game of Smash.
As you guys would know if you listened to the last episode, we love to throw this smash word around. Basically, it means that we think they're hot and we would smash. We mean it in the most respectful way possible. Like, it is a compliment in my eyes. But I think we were saying, like, who would you go out of the pair kind of thing, and kind of going into detail like that. But you could definitely see when certain people came on, we both looked at each other and were sort of like, that's a bit of you or whatnot, and things like that. Probably more so directed at me, but...
There were a couple that came on and you went dead silent, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then I just look up at her and she'd just be like jaw dropped looking at the TV, and I'm like, you would smash. And you're like, no, smash. 100% smash.
That's one thing though. That is one thing I love about our relationship, is that we can have a bit of fun. We can sit there, watch this. I can be like, that girl is so hot. And vice versa. Like, you can be like, that girl is so hot. And we'll get into your favourite part of the show so far a bit later. But I think a lot of the time people probably hear me being like, oh my God, they're so hot or whatever. Sarah does it just as much. She just hides it a little bit better.
Okay, I want to talk about first kisses,
Yep.
except I don't think we actually have the list in front of us. So we're going to have to go off memory.
We're going to have to go off memory. Probably watched it about 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
So this is basically whatever's stuck in our memory is worth the thought, I think.
Yeah.
So Fiorenza, and who the hell was Fiorenza with? Who was Fiorenza not with by this point, I think?
If you have a crush on Fiorenza, you need to move on because
luck.
I think Fiorenza has a lot of love to give, but also enjoys giving it to a few people.
I think Fee falls really hard and really fast. Really hard and really fast.
Yeah.
And bless her, she is the cutest little thing ever. Quite the ladies' girl. She got plenty of interest, and we had a bit of a giggle about her little spot on the terrace at the top when she'd put her head on the wall. That seemed to be her go-to move.
She puts her head on the wall and she gets the puppy dog eyes out, and she's
With like a bit of a slower voice. She has a couple of little moves and things like that. I don't think she's there intending to sort of jump around, but she ends up kind of doing it. And bless her heart, I think she's madly in love with every single one she's with.
My favourite one for Fee was when she was really keen on Amy and was like, I'm in love, like I want to tell Amy everything. And then Bethany walks in and she literally dumped Amy the next day.
And then next minute,
she wants Amy
straight back into Amy. I can't believe I didn't see Amy earlier. And we were like, weren't you with Amy a second ago?
And then said to Beth, you're just too nice.
You're too nice. But pop off. Like,
I know.
I think that is what Fee needs. She needs someone that's going to hold her accountable and keep her on her toes a little bit. She seems to kind of like the chase.
Yeah.
But I think you've got to have something there that she's into to keep her interest.
Well, actually, that's one thing about this show. It really does show queer love. We fall hard very fast and sometimes can move on very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think that's because the circle of life in a queer relationship literally will happen so fast that by the next day you're like, oh, fuck. I already know everything about you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think Fee was just trying to find her person.
Yeah.
And was willing to give many girls a go.
And do you know what? Pop off.
And I actually don't know who Fee came in with.
I can't think of that either.
I think it was the girl that left first.
I think we said let's get into first kisses and we didn't touch on any first kisses. Okay, so first kisses. Which ones stand out for you? You don't remember any of them. There's one kiss in the show that you remember, but it's not any of the first kisses.
There's one kiss that I've gone back to a few times, but it's not the first one. Amy and Meg was, I think...
I forgot they were paired.
I know. And bless Amy and Meg. I think as the show evolved, I really fell in love with Amy. At the first episode, I was a bit confused, and I think that's because Amy was...
She's a loud and bubbly person, and I think with introverts and people that aren't as loud and bubbly, it can be a bit like confronting almost. But yeah, we both, and also like these cuts and edits and stuff, they want to show people that are interesting and captivating and things like that. So we definitely were both a bit like, oh, she's got a lot of energy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, we definitely are massive Amy fans.
Yeah, massive Amy fans. But that first kiss stands out for me because Amy's loves femme, and Meg came on. And can we just say, Meg, you may be stealing my girlfriend.
Smash.
Meg came on the screen and Clem went dead silent. And look at her right now. I think you've been stalking her Instagram ever since.
I have not. I've been on it once when we went to look at what all of them are up to. It's not my fault that she seems to keep popping up in my For You page.
Meg is shorter girl. She's blonde hair, tattoos.
Also, I wasn't the only one stalking her because you turned around a couple of days later being like, have you seen this photo of her with the fire twirling? And I was like,
I'm
oh,
sorry,
wow.
but have you? Because if you haven't gone to Meg's Instagram... Smash. It was an interesting dynamic because even though with femme and femme, it was like two quite dominant femme women. And
From first appearance.
And it just was, I thought, quite awkward.
And you can see as it progresses that they just definitely don't have the chemistry in that sense at all. That's the thing I loved about it is like from the get-go, you're captivated and sort of being like, oh, like what's going to happen here kind of thing. And I think it's the beauty of the queer world is that there's all types of women and they don't always go into the stereotypical type that's opposite or the same or whatever. People go for all sorts in the queer world and I love that.
Yeah.
So I think for Meg and Amy, it was really cool to have like a femme on femme type thing and sort of watch it all unfold. They didn't end up together at all, but that femme on femme kind of storyline keeps going.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there was Priya and Nay. I thought that they were quite natural. Yeah, it ended up being, from what we know, they're still together, but that was quite a natural kiss.
Yeah, we're at episode, I don't know, 9 or 8 or something, and they're still together and seem to be going strong. Definitely was natural, but I think we both sat there and said they weren't going to end up together.
Yeah.
Just out of first, like, initial thoughts, we both were like, that's, nice kiss. It wasn't that awkward or anything like that, but we weren't feeling it. Fucked, what do we know?
Yeah, I know.
Abby and Alicia seem pretty natural and they both seem pretty like smitten over each other by physical appearance, which was quite cute. And they kind of stick around a bit, and we'll go into a bit more of their story down the track, but they were one that I thought, oh, they look pretty cute. Like I could see them in the outside world kind of thing. And then I reckon one of the best kisses was Georgia and
Cara.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. They just seem to sit really well together.
Yeah. Do you think, would it sit better if maybe you were Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smash. Do you know what the funny thing is? I don't remember which one out of Meg or Cara came out first in the like reveal thing.
It was Meg.
I think it was Meg.
Yeah.
And when both of them walked out, the cat got my tongue.
When Cara came out, because Cara is from Ireland, which you love an Irish accent.
They're such a good accent.
And she has the most stunning eyes. Her eyes are stunning, and she's got black hair, and she's just like such an Irish girl, and she is gorgeous.
I reckon Meg was a bit of a slower burn for you, but you definitely think Meg's hot. But Cara from the get-go, we were both just sitting there like,
smash. We were both deadpan. Look, actually, when Cara came out, there was silence from both of us.
That's what I mean.
For a while.
When Meg came out, you were like, you just turned to me and you were sort of like, what are you looking at, babe? In a joking way, like, because we were laughing about it. But you just kind of knew instantly that I was going to be like, she's fucking hot.
Yeah.
But when Cara came out, I don't think I was expecting it because it was dead silent. And then I think I looked at you and I was like, oh, you're feeling Cara.
And she has tats. Cara's a babe. Cara is a babe.
I can't think of any of the other kisses. Moving past the first kisses, we get to the first 9. And Fee was right off the bat on her mission for love. Her eyes were set on Meg. I don't know why.
Well, you wouldn't know why. I know why, because that's your wife. But Fee went straight for Meg, was up in her spot,
head against the wall.
Head on the wall, talking about her feelings with Meg.
So
Meg
do you like me?
Meg was lapping it up. Meg was feeling it.
They ended up sharing a little kiss.
Amy was keen on Meg.
But she knew that Meg was kind of not that
Well,
keen.
yeah, Meg was kind of distant. But their relationship blossomed as friendship later.
100%.
And that's what I loved about this show, is that a lot of the relationships that didn't work out ended up becoming really cool, like queer friends.
Yeah.
You know, they have a lot of good queer banter, talking about queer experience, all that kind of stuff. But at this point, Amy was really keen on Meg and Meg was really keen on P.
Yeah. So Fee and Meg hit it off, had a kiss, which ended up being revealed to Amy and Demi later on. And to their credit, they were communicated it pretty quickly and pretty effectively, and there was not really any drama involved in that. It was the first day. I think if someone did kick off, it would be a bit silly. But I think because those connections weren't blossoming themselves, it just wasn't much of a backlash.
Yeah. And Demi was quick on the rebound because she wanted to put a wedge between Priya and Nay.
Yeah, which Nay actually lapped up a fair bit. Nay trying to be there like, oh, I can't play how I play on the outside because everyone's watching type thing. But also I think like at the start we were sort of like, oh, settle down. But like we definitely grew on them as well. And we loved how Priya held Nay accountable.
Priya absolutely ripped into Nay that one day. She found out about Demi.
Yeah.
And went, fuck this, grabbed Nay.
This is my girl.
Sat her down and said, what are you doing? And it scared the shit out of Nay.
And me. Fucking hell. I would have told her anything she wanted to know in that moment. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I think we were both like, wow.
Wow. But particularly because they'd not known each other for very long. It was a couple of days or something in at this point.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine someone grilling you like that a couple of days in? Obviously, given the experiment, you're with them 24 hours, there's drinking, like everything's kind of heightened and also fast-tracked because of the environment. So it seems foreign for us from the outside to watch it and be like, you've known her for 2 days or something. But think about literally meeting someone as your partner, kissing already, spending 24/7 with them. Like it would fast track these feelings and stuff.
I think also Nay was giving off like the love energy to both of them. And I think with Priya, she was like, well, don't give me that shit. If you're sitting here and telling me all these feelings and being all cuddly and you're being my partner, even though we've only known each other for 2 days, and then you're going to do that with somebody else, I'm not having that.
Yeah.
Priya is a woman that knows what she wants and she's going to get it. And she got it.
I would not step in the way of that.
Absolutely. She scared the shit out of me. I was shocked, but I was also like,
That was one of the moments we were both like,
oh, wow. And in the end, I mean, I love that about Priya. Like, she'll put her foot down, and she does a couple of times throughout the show, but I just think you wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of Priya.
yeah. Demi left first. She'd just come out, and it was actually really beautiful because she spoke about how she felt much more validated now having been on the show, and she spoke to a common issue that a lot of queer people have when they first come out, is that they haven't necessarily been with someone sexually of the same sex, and they don't feel like that they are valid in saying that I am a lesbian or I am queer or whatnot. And of course you are. Like, if you identify as a lesbian or as bi or as queer in any sense, you don't have to sleep with anyone for that to happen. Like, it's your identity, it's how you identify, it's what you're sexually attracted to, whatever you want it to be. You don't have to sleep with anyone. So I'm so glad that Demi sort of spoke to that and gave that visibility on that sort of issue that a lot of people face.
Yeah.
And obviously met a bunch of people. I think the best thing is that they have this little queer group now, all of them.
Yeah, I know. And that's one thing that like I said, I really loved about the show, is that it was just cool to see a group of queer people coming together and just having a good time. But then shit hit the fan because this tall, blonde...
What do they call her? Like a blonde Viking.
Yeah,
that's what they
blonde
said.
Viking.
The blonde Viking
strolls in.
And I don't think we gave Eva enough credit, because when she came in, we were a little bit like, because you kind of, you already knew the OGs and it's been like a few days, but you were like, who's this girl? Like, these are the OGs, they're in their couples, like, what's going to happen here kind of thing. But she came in, she was a bloody good laugh. Like, I had a lot of laughs with some of the random stuff she did, and she had awesome friendships. At the point we're at, she's with Meg and very loved up and friendly. Whether that continues or not, we'll find out.
Well, there were some comments that she made about, I don't want to hurt you in the outside world.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. She's quite upfront about her past and how she's not been, I believe, the most faithful or the most relationship-driven person. And I really respect that she's really open and upfront about that stuff. Whether or not it's going to work out at the moment with Meg, I don't know, because like you said, we just heard some comments which would maybe give me not the most reassuring feeling being Meg. And if you hurt Meg,
You hurt Clem.
you hurt me, and I'm who you have to face, because that is my wife.
Meg Lockhart.
Meg Lockhart. That actually sounds pretty good. I'm just saying. You're going to pull a Priya?
I'm going to pull a Priya. Don't you fucking start. Nah, it's fine. I knew you would smash Meg, but it's okay. We'll talk about it later.
Well, you can't blame me.
I can't. It's Meg.
She's a rig.
When she gets the fire breathing stuff out, how the fuck am I meant to compare that? What am I going to do? Twirl it around in my face in a little stick? I'll probably burn myself.
I would not say probably. I'd say definitely.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't even let you do it.
Meg, if you could, for me, please, just put the fire down, because my girlfriend wants you. Just put it down, please. And also, there's one night where they all get dressed up in like it's kind of like BDSM
I
clothing.
don't know what you're not
You
talking
know
about.
exactly what I'm talking about. And Meg struts out in this like black leather strapped up thing, and I was like, well, I'm single because
I was like, I've booked my flight to England.
I've lost my girlfriend. So Meg, if you wouldn't mind, just taking it down a notch, like give other girls a fucking chance. But also smash, like it is what it is.
But also, if you don't want Clem, I'm available.
I'm here. Hello. So Ava walks in and goes straight for Amy. She's like, Amy's hot. I want Amy.
And I'm like, here for it. Tall.
But it doesn't work out.
It doesn't. I
It's
don't
a-
actually really remember what happens.
Oh, and also, I know we've just talked about Meg and Ava, but Fee and Meg broke up pretty quick. It was like within 24 hours.
Fee literally was in the pool and was like, I'm bored.
Yeah. Literally got bored of Meg in 24 hours, which is crazy because.
And you know what happened after that? Meg started crying and was like, I'm not enough. I'm never enough. And I was like, you are enough for me.
Do you know what's funny?
Come here and I will hold you, Meg.
Do you know what's funny? Well, talking about Meg like later in the season, I said, would you wife her up or something? And you said, yes, I would, because of that conversation when she was like crying and being like, I'm not enough and stuff. And so it's not all about the looks. Because
It's not, because I actually, no, 100%. Okay. It started with the looks. I can't lie. No, I do think she's a really sweet person. And I think you see a much more vulnerable side of her. And I also think when someone gets called hot all the time or gets perceived as hot and stuff like that, a lot of the time that it's not the easiest thing to deal with. It sounds ridiculous and people will be like, oh my God, it's such a big problem being too hot or whatever. But you could see, like, she was like, I never feel like I'm enough and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's also something really important, to show that vulnerability to people that others might perceive as being completely secure and confident. I think we need to move on from Meg.
Yeah.
I feel like we've harped on about it
Perfect.
enough.
So
moving on.
Moving on, we will come back to Meg, but moving on, Eva goes for Amy and then isn't vibing with it, and then I think goes straight for Meg. But Eva does kind of
She's kind of just like,
keeps the door
who's around
open.
kind of
Yeah,
thing, whatever.
Eva's a bit of a loves to look at the field and go, where can I explore, and love that for her. But what I loved is when Hannah came. Hannah came in and was like really kind of test it with Eva, and Eva was like, no, yes, but no, because my heart's with Meg. And I was
But
like,
yes, but yes.
yes, you're hot. You're hot, Hannah, but no, I'm with Meg. And it's almost like she had to say it
Yeah.
out loud
For herself.
for herself to remember
it in your pants.
she's with Meg,
Yeah.
not Hannah. So that was really cool of Eva. But she kind of evolves. Like Eva, I think, came in as this like tough shell. I can get any girl I want and blah, blah, blah. And I think Meg really works on like bringing those walls down. And I love now I see Eva on Instagram and she's like dressing a little bit more femme. And I saw a video that she did recently.
Yeah, I saw one too. And she said her experience on the show allowed her to open up a bit more to the feminine side.
Yeah, and I loved that. I thought that was really cool because she did come in with this like super tough exterior. So pop off Eva. But then switching it up, because I think we've already touched on this, but Fee goes for Amy and then Beth and then back to Amy, and then ultimately Amy has to make a decision and unfortunately says no to Fee, which I personally think, even though I'm not sure if Beth and Amy are going to work out, not Beth, sorry, Hannah and Amy are
I
going to
don't
work
know
out.
how you forgot that combination.
I don't know. We'll get on that in a sec. But I do think that Fee maybe needed to get like a bit of a taste of her own medicine in a way, around like you can't just be like, I want you, I don't want you, I want you, I don't want you. And I think it was important for Amy to make that decision.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But also, Hannah came in, made it very known that her eyes were on Amy. She thought she was extremely attractive. She said it out loud in front of people, pursued her, wanted to take her on a date and things like that. Amy's typical type is femmes, and you don't have to stick with your type, but that's what she's naturally attracted to. Amy saw her and was like, oh my gosh, she's hot kind of thing. They had an instant chemistry. Fee and Amy both said they never had an instant chemistry. They became really, really good friends, and then it evolved from there. Fee had her chance and she didn't want it, or she chose someone else. And at the end of the day, I think if you don't make someone a priority, if you don't choose them at the start, that's the risk you take, and that's what happened.
And for the listeners that don't know who Hannah is, because we haven't really touched on Hannah, Hannah comes in with another person. Who does Hannah come in with?
We've actually skipped a whole thing of intruders, but Hannah comes in with, I can't remember.
Hannah comes in as one of the last intruders. And she walked into the villa, saw Amy, and went, "That's mine."
Yeah.
And I loved that about her, because I think I would have expected her to go for more like the Eva or Fee was there or whatever. Went straight for Amy. And then there was the pool kiss.
And if you guys thought that, you know, we talk about me being like smash, whatever, if you thought, you know, oh, Sarah must have to put up with Clem, blah, blah, you should have seen Sarah during this pool kiss between Amy and Hannah. She's literally getting rosy cheeks right now. She was so here for it.
It was hot.
You were feeling it.
It was hot. And I don't know why. We just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Hinge.
The LGBTQIA plus prompt, "I wish I could tell the younger version of myself," is the prompt in the app that really resonates with me. I would tell my younger self that it's okay to be authentically you. What about you, Sarah?
I'd have to say the first time I knew I was gay is such a great question for me. The first time I knew I was gay was when I was around 14 or 15, but I actually didn't come out until I was 26.
The LGBTQIA plus prompts are a fantastic way to showcase your true self and meet people who really get you. Download Hinge today. Now back to the show.
Maybe it was because it was femme on femme and I'm a little bit gay, but it was hot. It was hot.
It was a good kiss.
It was a good kiss. And we actually were both quiet, but I was a little bit more quiet than you.
You were very flustered.
And I was like, shit.
You were very flustered. It was definitely the highlight of your whole season.
Yeah. But talking about Hannah and Amy, so I think the thing that annoyed me a little bit, and this could be production for sure, but I found that Haney.
It's about the worst couple name you can have.
Haney.
Heinous Haney.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Sorry. I found that Hannah really pursued Amy so hard, and Amy's such a hard lover. Like, she will love you to death. She'll just do everything for you. She'll care about you. She loves hard. She's got a lot of emotions. And Hannah really pursued her. When Amy chose Hannah over Fee, I just felt like Hannah just completely switched it up. And this could be production. It could just be the show. But I didn't like that. I don't know. I feel like as soon as Fee was out the picture, it was like, I don't need to work hard on that anymore. And it kind of just flipped. And I don't know.
Interesting. I'm on the other side. I feel for Hannah because I feel like obviously when you're pursuing someone and there's a competition, you're going to step your game up. I agree. Don't step down too far and things like that. But in any sense, when you establish a connection and you establish that you're both committed and pursuing each other and exclusive to an extent, you get comfortable and a little bit of that chase stops 100%. I don't think you should ever stop chasing your partner, but I think Hannah just kind of relaxed a little bit. She also was brand new into the villa. She's just starting to relax, make some more friends and whatnot. Hannah has quite similar banter to me and we tease and we joke around, and there was a couple of things that, as you know, they could have edited it anyway. You know, we could have missed massive chunks of conversations or whatever, but there's a couple of things that Hannah said that I didn't actually think were that bad, but were made out to be a massive thing. Like, Amy cut her off about 3 times in a row, and then Hannah made a joke like, oh, I'd change the fact that you talk so much. Like, that's a joke I would make, and I think you need, when you're someone like that, you need someone that can match that banter and won't get offended too easily. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that was necessarily even just Amy. I think it might have even been the environment and the fact that Amy was kind of like, oh, that was a bit weird. But then having talked to other people, it became a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Whereas I think on maybe the outside world, Amy would have been like, oh, and then maybe said it. But they ended up having a big competition a couple of the day after. And it was like a answer the questions type thing. And that was quite revealing because that showed a lot of cracks in a lot of different couples. The highlights for me in that game, well, maybe not highlights, maybe more lowlights, were I thought that was savage for Hannah in the sense of some of the answers that Amy said no to.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what they were, but there was a couple that were really hectic.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen the rest of it, so I don't know. But from my point of view, the harshness of Amy's responses weren't addressed at all.
Yeah.
There was also, you know, some things coming up with Cara and Georgia, which we barely mentioned because they're pretty quiet most of the season. They're kind of in their own bubble. But right now they're starting to say, can we see this working on the outside? And that I think is going to be something we touch on a lot more after the reunion and seeing where they end up. Cara's another girl that if you hurt her, you hurt me.
And me.
And you.
I reckon Cara might go for a femme.
Pop off. Shoot your shot.
Cara, my Instagram is. Oh, the only other couple I want to talk about before we go and watch the episodes and come back. So we're going to cut this. So for you, it's like 2 seconds. For us, it's
2 hours.
2 hours. The only other couple that I want to talk about is Leash and Abby.
Yep.
Because at the start I was like, this is really cute. This is like super awesome and like they're going to get along well together. But, and this might be controversial, and please don't get me wrong, Leash and Abby, if you are listening to this, I think you guys are so cute. But I don't disagree with what people were saying. I think their relationship got almost too codependent and the communication broke down. And there were some things towards the end, the relationship got a little bit... Toxic's probably not the right word, but...
Yeah, I don't know if they were at that point, but I don't think they were right for each other.
No, I don't think
they're
so.
awesome individuals, but I'm not sure they were right for each other. And uncontroversial opinion, because it did cause a bit of a stir. I actually think Priya and Nay making the decision to send them home, as much as it shocked us, we both gasped. It was a complete curveball. I think it was the best decision.
Yeah.
Because I think that their chaos would have continued and they would have been captivated by each other, so it wouldn't have benefited anyone else's journey because I don't think anyone else would have been involved in it. And it would have just been chaotic and maybe portrayed them in a negative light, which wouldn't have done well for them.
No, and I also think they wouldn't have been, even if they decided to not pursue each other anymore, I don't know if either of them would have then gone out and pursued other people.
No, I think their connection, as much as I don't think they were right for each other, I think their connection was too strong for them to have been able to move on after that.
But I hope, girls, when you're out now, if you guys are going strong, we'll eat our words. But
100%.
I actually think the decision for you to leave, if your relationship is doing well now, is probably because you left.
Exactly, 100%.
So yeah, I also agree with Priya and Nay, and I think the girls gave Priya a bit of a hard time on that for no reason.
It also was quite interesting that Priya copped a lot of that heat because she was the one that was able to sort of speak back on it. I think it was maybe the way she handled it after, but Nay seemed to just kind of go under the radar, and she was also part of that decision. But I think it was more about how Priya handled the situation.
Well, I think Priya was just saying we had to choose someone.
It was what it was.
It is what it is. Like, what do you want me to do? Did you want me to choose one of you guys? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I would like to mention when it comes to Leash and Abby, more so Leash. That was someone that kind of broke the norm of what we were expecting in terms of how they portray themselves and their style options and things like that. And I just want to say, pop off, queen. Slay, you fucking killed it. Those outfits were so cool.
I was going to mention this and then I forgot. But I actually saw Leash pop up on my Instagram the other day, and just go and have a look at Leish's photo that they used for I Kissed a Girl. She is so cool.
Yeah.
And I love that she's really breaking barriers of social norms of like clothing and femme versus mask and whatever. Like I just love it. I think she's a vibe, and I think that she could be iconic to people who are confused about what they want to wear or how they want to present. Yeah, I love that about Leish, and I'm really glad you brought that up.
100%. All right. Stay with us. We're going to go watch the episodes, film the YouTube, and we will be back with our final thoughts on I Kissed a Girl.
Yeah.
We have just finished the last episode and the reunion, and wow.
Oh my God.
I know it's hard because we literally just pressed stop on the reunion, but let's go back to the last episode, and I think we can just cut into it. It was basically the final kiss.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who came up first?
It was Georgia and Cara.
I think so.
Yeah.
Cara and Georgia.
Yeah. A little bit shocked, to be honest. I actually didn't think that Cara would turn around. And not to ruin the reunion, but like,
We've already said if we have gone through all of what happened in our reactions. So if you haven't watched it, watch it now.
yeah.
Spoilers coming right now.
I'm not surprised. I wonder if Cara and Georgia, or Cara in particular, just turned around more so to like, that was the end of the season, just turn around. Because I feel like she
think that
wasn't
was maybe
vibing it.
both of them.
Yeah, it wasn't going to work out.
I think that was maybe both of them. I think that it was falling apart at the end. I think they're in this whole, not fantasy, but it's not a real world scenario.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, this is so fun. It's literally a summer fling a
Yeah.
lot of the time. And yeah, I think they both just kind of did the polite thing. Obviously had strong feelings, but I think we weren't surprised that it didn't stand the test of time.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's for the best, honestly. Amy and Hannah, shocked.
Wow.
Shocked.
We are doing a YouTube video and we both have a very good reaction to that. We literally were losing our shit.
I couldn't believe it. I don't know. I knew that Amy would turn around because Amy's a lover, and I don't think Amy would leave Hannah at the end. And I think Amy genuinely loved Hannah, but I think Hannah got in her head. I did not expect Hannah to not turn around.
I don't think so. And the producers did it very well for a shock factor because they were implying that she was maybe unsure of what Amy was thinking, but it turns out she didn't turn based off her own merit, apparently.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's true, we'll never know. But
Yeah.
I still stand by myself in saying that I believe Hannah could have had more reassurance and affection in that sense from Amy based off what we saw. As you could see towards the end, Hannah really was super insecure still and had no sort of reassurance in her mind that Amy was going to turn. And I think she was shocked when Amy did turn. So, I mean, it's positive and negative, but it was horrible to see Amy get hurt.
I think what it did show, though, and Amy was right, like, don't think about what the other person's going to do. Think about, like, your emotions, and Hannah definitely wasn't thinking about that.
I think so too, for sure. But I also think if you're insecure, you start to overthink.
Yeah.
And not insecure as a person, she might be, but I think the fact that she was insecure in the relationship or the connection, she second-guessed everything.
Yeah.
I think had there been a bit more reassurance given to her, she might not have been all over the shop in her head. That's my opinion. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, interesting. Your girlfriend, your wife, brokenhearted.
So we're just going to talk about this episode first quickly, and then we're going to go into the reunion because that's a whole other ballgame.
Whole other fucking thing.
But Meg and Eva.
I was so disappointed in Eva, but, and I know we're going to touch on the reunion in a minute, I am proud of Eva for where she's at now, but she broke that poor girl's heart, completely shattered. And I think the reason why I'm disappointed is because leading up to this, Eva was so into it and didn't allow Meg, once they had like started talking and kissing or whatever and like really getting into it, didn't really allow anything else to change out of that. It was Eva and Meg. So Meg couldn't or wouldn't explore elsewhere. It wasn't until the day before they were leaving that Eva started saying, I don't want to hurt you outside, and started to like plant the seed of like, maybe not. So it kind of felt like Eva had her fun. Eva had her cake. What's the thing? Eva had her cake and ate it too.
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah. She got what she wanted for the time that she was there.
Yeah.
And then I felt like she really was like, okay, how do I get out of this before the last moment? And that's exactly what she did.
Look, I can understand that because I would probably do the same thing about a year ago. I would have been panicking and been like, like this is too full on, whatever. And if you are a little bit hesitant when someone does imply that they're falling for you and you're not quite there, it's terrifying and very off-putting. However, the thing that frustrates me the most, and we all know I have a soft spot, just a small one for Meg.
You would drop the knee, but yep, okay.
What frustrates me about this situation is Eva was there when Meg broke down about Fee. And it wasn't even about Fee. It was just a breakdown in general, being like, I am never enough for anyone. They never choose me. They never like fully follow through. All of this stuff, she was there holding Meg throughout that and hearing and talking to her, comforting her, reassuring her, which was when Meg was in a very vulnerable position. They built a connection off that pretty much. And then she did the same thing. And call me crazy or call me biased, but I don't think it was fair.
I think you want Meg.
My heart broke.
Yeah.
Meg like turns and looks at Danny and it's like panic and oh my goodness, my heart broke for that poor girl.
Yeah. My heart broke for you because I thought you were going to cry.
I almost did.
Yeah, I thought you were. And I was like, wow.
But I was also just like, Eva, you have fumbled.
Yeah.
Fumbled.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. We've got to really try and wrap this shit up.
Then we've got Nay and Priya.
Yep.
Now, as
Again,
we all expected.
We're just doing the final kiss off.
As we all expected, they get to the aisle, they turn around, they kiss. We're going to come back to them in a minute.
I did speculate that a knee was going to get dropped. It didn't happen.
But maybe if it did, it might have changed what happened later. But anyway, okay. So that's the end of that episode. Nothing too surprising, but also like completely shocking at the same time. Reunion. Holy shit.
Okay, so let's just power through a couple of things. Cara and Georgia broke up. We weren't surprised. They seemed pretty mutual about it, but also very vague, which gives me the impression they're not as close of friends they imply.
Yeah.
But we're not surprised about that.
Yeah.
All the intruders love that, living their best life. Demi's with Fee's best mate, who she actually walked into the villa with Fee and kissed her, and I love that. It's about
so
as lesbian as
cute.
it comes. Beth is living her best life and sending all of her updates to the group chat, which I love. I'm also very surprised if she sends something being like, oh, I'm going on a date with this chick from the UK to all of those girls. How does no one have a connection to them?
Yeah. Good question.
I think it would have to happen a lot. So anyway, I'd love to be part of that group chat, just a fly on the wall.
Leash and Abby.
Leash and Abby are together and they're so cute.
And I feel like them leaving was the best thing that
I
could have
think
happened
you're
for them.
100% right. Like you said, they either were going to split up or leaving was the best thing to happen.
Yeah.
I actually think if they'd stayed in, they wouldn't be together.
No, I agree.
I think under that pressure in that environment, it was too much for them.
Yeah.
Given the level they were at. So I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
I love it.
Amy, Hannah, they're all doing their thing.
Yeah.
Great. Let's talk about
The elephants.
the elephant in the room. Meg. Meg's dating someone.
Meg is dating someone that we all know, apparently, is what she said. And we're like, oh, interesting. And our minds are racing. I'm going Leash. They kind of had a connection. You thought Hannah.
Do you know where my brain went? When she said, Danny, you might know her. I was like, Kylie Minogue.
That sums you up in a nutshell. It also shows how tired you are right now.
Yeah.
No surprise, Sarah's mind went left of field and thought suddenly Kylie Minogue was in the picture.
I was like, shit, I thought she was married with kids, but pop off Meg.
Pop off, mate. Jesus.
No, pop off Meg.
Oh, I was like, the boog's coming out.
Pop off, mate.
But no, it was one of the cast and it wasn't anyone that we saw coming at all. I don't think they even looked at each other in the villa from what we saw.
No.
There was literally not even a glance. I don't even think they'd know each other.
But this is what I mean by the whole Eva Meg situation, because there was this like blanket over them and this full intense thing.
Yeah, it stopped them from exploring.
Exactly. And I feel like if Eva had those traits before and those feelings before of like not being able to be loyal and stuff, I don't know, to tie someone down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
So it turns out it was Layla. Layla.
Shocked.
We both gasped.
Shocked. shocked and apologised to Layla.
And an apology was made. A lot of comments have been said about Meg on this recording. I am sorry. I meant no disrespect. I am currently doing this with my girlfriend, whom I love very, very, very much. I was just trying to show appreciation and love. And yeah, I'm still shaken by that.
You would
But
still smash.
I would still smash Meg. I'm soz. I'm sorry, Layla. Like, what do you want me to say? But no, I did really respect Layla's response on the couch. She sort of had Meg's back and talked about how much of a beautiful person she is and how the love is there and all of that.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then I ship it. I love that. I'm just a little bit concerned because Layla seemed quite emotionally unavailable.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. In the villa, Mazaria, Layla was perceived as being emotionally unavailable and also would go on a date with someone and be like, yeah, and the next day give them the cold shoulder. They did that to Thea, I think it was, yeah. And I didn't like that because like they had this really big, beautiful date and Thea was like on cloud nine and then literally the next day she was like ignoring her basically.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I don't know if I'm emotionally available and stuff. And I'm like, well then why are you here?
Yeah, I'm just going to throw it out there because I'm team Meg, and if Meg is team Layla, then I, by proxy, am now team Layla. I'm going to say Layla was like, Meg is the hottest thing I've ever seen. That's my girl. I'm not into anyone else. When she realised she couldn't get it, she was like, I'm out. So that's how I'm going to explain it.
You know what? Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I ship it.
That makes sense. So pop off Meg and Layla. We stand
off.
you. Layla, I'm sorry for my comments, but I'm sure you can understand where I'm coming from.
Well, and we say this is the way the show is cut and produced. We're aware that we don't see everything at all.
Yeah. Moving on.
The biggest plot twist.
Oh my
I thought that was the biggest plot twist.
God. I'm choked.
I don't know why they didn't end with that. Like, Abby and Leash staying together, amazing, love it. But like, it's positive. It's like whatever. It's not really shocking. Here for it. Priya.
And Nay.
Nay makes a comment straight off the bat. Well, Priya just went back and got married to her ex she was engaged to before the show. Sarah is over here like in like absolute shock, being like, oh my God. And I'm literally laughing. I'm like, oh, that's funny. Like, that's such a funny joke. It wasn't.
It wasn't a joke.
It was not a joke.
It was serious.
Priya left the villa. Priya reconnects with the girl she was engaged to. Was it 2 months?
No, it was...
No. So before Priya went into the villa, I believe she was with a girl for 2 months.
Yeah.
She'd never met in person.
Never met her.
Got engaged.
Yeah.
Apparently they broke up. Everything was fully off. They've reconnected a little bit just before the show. Seems oddly convenient. She told her about the show and that was it. She then started falling for Nay. Came off the show, saw Nay for a bit, I don't know.
Saw Nay for 1 week.
And then reconnected with
The ex and flew out the next week to the US.
after 2 weeks in the US, was married.
Yeah. Married after 2 weeks.
Married.
2 weeks.
I'm falling in love with you. 2 weeks later, married to a different person.
And then she had the audacity to pop off on Nay about Nay's like little outburst. I'm sorry, Nay was quiet. Unbelievable.
Yeah, how she sat there being like, that's your truth. That is literally the truth.
The truth.
Like, you even said it yourself. 2 weeks after you got to the US, you were married. I'm sorry, and controversial opinion, I don't have anything against Priya. I have something against this situation. Because I wonder if you really could be completely disconnected from them.
No.
To then be at this point 2 weeks later.
No way. And imagine being the wife and looking back on this TV show, because it wouldn't have been out then. It only came out recently. And looking back on that and being like, well, you clearly had a really intense connection with this person. And furthermore, following up, Priya popped off on Nay in like the second episode for trying to get to know Demi. when she had a fucking fiance
Waiting with a ring.
waiting in the US with a fucking ring.
Waiting at the altar.
Like, how dare you? My God. I like Nay. I do think there were some things in the first few episodes that I was like, Nay grew on me, and I feel really sorry for her. Because you go into that show like with the intention of finding someone and doing that. And she found her someone, and she introduced Priya to her family, to her mum.
Oh, her mum was so cute.
And you could see that Nay was so happy, and she had the biggest smile on her face. And then I just feel like Priya was playing a game.
Well, it's funny you say that because my mind just went to this. The fact that she sat there with her parents and both parents being like, I won. There was a competition with another girl and I won.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
then
don't
dad
know.
said something like, of course you did or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Again, the show can make things come across different ways, but Priya sat there herself, said 2 or 3 weeks after they got out of the villa, she was married.
She was married. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the finale of Love is Blind where they get, what's his name? He comes on stage and they were like, you were engaged to someone else this whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
And you didn't
he
take the
got
show
absolutely
grilled. And you didn't take the show seriously. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here.
Well, and if it is the case that she sort of had to plan with her ex-fiancé, which we're not saying she did.
Yeah.
But if that is the case, that's really, really horrible for Nay.
That's
Particularly
what I mean.
because she shut down Nay from connecting with anyone else. But I'm not saying that that's what happened. It's hard to disregard the timelines. However, we're lesbians, so crazier things have happened.
I'm interested in anyone that's listening to this. Have you married, not just gotten engaged, because I feel like you can get engaged quick in the lesbian world and then you stay in an engagement for a while before you get married. Have you gotten married in, let's say, the first month of
Or
meeting
even first 6 months married.
Yeah,
I'd
married.
be impressed.
Not engaged, married.
Yeah.
In the first 6 months of your relationship.
I hope we get some replies being like, I got married in one day in Vegas.
Okay, let's put some rules down
No,
because
I'm still counting it. If it's a legit legal marriage, I'll count it.
all right.
If it's just a ceremony with no legitimacy, I'm not counting it.
And Clem's the final. She's
And
not
that's
counting.
What I say goes.
Okay, so to wrap it up, watch the show.
Holy shit.
Holy fucking shit. My mind is blown. I'm hoping for season 2.
I'm hoping for 1 million seasons and I'm hoping for more drama.
That's what I was going to say. So season 2, I'm hoping we get to see a little bit more, I don't want to say realness, but like it was almost too friendly.
Yeah, I
And
want
that's
some,
not real world.
not villains, but I want some more like dom people that are like, this is what I want. I'm going to do anything. Like Hannah kind of came in with that energy. Like I will get what I want. It just happened to be that Amy was pretty available.
Yeah.
So I would love that. I would also love to see people like Cara maybe brought back in. Some fan favourites. Or even Cara and Georgia. That would be fun.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Couple of exes.
Yeah, I do think some fan favourites coming back. Priya's married. Fuck. I was going to say Nate Priya.
Well, we don't know how long the marriage is going to be. The engagement was pretty fucking short. Unless you're including the entire filming, then it's maybe a normal engagement.
Jesus Christ. So that's what I'm hoping for season 2. I hope, pray, there's more seasons. It's so good. Go watch it. I feel like everyone can take something from the show.
Absolutely. I think it's really awesome that we have the queer representation of these shows that the hetero sort of world have so much of. I think it's awesome. I think if we get around it more, the better it goes, the more likely they're going to do more.
Yeah.
So I'm here for it. We love all the girls on it. We think they're all absolutely stunning. We, these are our reactions. We know that it's, a TV show and they're going to cut things. They're going to make people look a certain way, whatnot. We actually don't think that there's anyone to villainize or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
We are giving our reaction on certain scenarios and whatnot, but all in all, I think it was an awesome group of girls, and I think it's awesome to have a sudden influx of more representation.
Yeah. I love it. Love it. Go watch it. You won't be disappointed.
Perfect. But if you haven't watched it and you've gotten to this point of the episode, you're pretty fucked because we just told you everything.
I know. But I also do think if you are listening to this and you haven't watched it, I know we've spoiled everything, but still go look at it because like there's moments of like queer intimacy and connections and friendships, and there's some really good conversations about queerness and
Absolutely.
stuff like that.
Queer history.
Yeah, so go have a look at it. It's amazing. Love it. We're here for it. We want more.
Let's go, lesbians.
Let's go, lesbians. All right. It's been a long day.
Yep.
I want to go to bed.
Let's go.
Okay.
I'll take you to bed.
Perfect. But we're snoozing.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. Pajamas, flannelette pajamas on.
Perfect. TV
Perfect.
show on.
Perfect.
What are we going to watch now?
I don't know. We might watch this season all over again.
Perfect. Perfect. Just Hannah and Amy's kiss for you.
I just want that scene. That's what I go to sleep to now.
Naughty girl. All right.
Love you. Bye.
Thanks for listening. We'd like to take a moment to give a special thank you to our sponsor, Hinge.
Hinge is a dating app that is designed to be deleted. Create or update your Hinge account today and answer the LGBTQIA+ prompts to diversify your profile and make genuine, long-lasting connections with incredible people.
Who knows, you might meet the one.
Download Hinge today and try the LGBTQIA+ prompts to show off your most authentic self.